Right. Thank you. Monsignor, perhaps you do not remember me, but I was here 6 years ago. And I had an audience with you, no problem, sir. And then Jeff, I'm here, Mr. Minister. I'm here because of my relationship with Dr. Jeffrey Sachs. When our countryman, Korean, Mr. Ban Ki-moon was elected as the Secretary General of the United Nations. And I think he was elected, but at the first time he was very much confused because he had to prioritize the agenda of the world. And I think people brought so many agendas on his desk. And I think it was Jeff who prioritized what he needs to do as the Secretary General of the United Nations. And MDG at that time, remember, Jeff? He brought agenda of MDG. And then when MDG agenda expired, more or less, 2015, we went to SDGs. And the difference between MDG and SDG is SDG, we don't leave no one behind. That is our core philosophy. Having said that, MDG and SDG, I had a privilege working with Jeff, and I probably met him more, I saw him more in Africa than in New York or anywhere else. But as the Minister of Education of Italy has emphasized, yes, education is key to everything what we're trying to do. And I want to share just a little bit of what I did specifically in education, what I performed the past 16 years. First of all, I was born in Korea. When I was born in Korea, Korea was third poorest country of the world. It was a challenge to have a bowl of rice with a little bit of soy sauce. That was challenge of the day. That's how Korea was poor. But now, you see Korea, you have smartphone, you have, everything made Korea. Anyway, how did we come to this level? It's because we put top priority in education. Especially, we didn't discriminate girls from boys in education. We tried to keep the gender balance between boys and girls in education. So the enlightened girls went to factory and they produced top products. And this is one of way Korea could pull out from poverty. But now, when I look at my young generation, youth of Korea, they're a little bit confused. They don't know where we came from. And to them, educating them, have them get interested in SDG, it's not easy, but they're coming around. And the fact that Pope has announced, I think in 2015, right? It is very inspirational for them. So I look at the leaders in Vatican, religious leaders, and I look at leaders like academic leaders, Jeffrey Sachs. They continue upfront and giving them food for thoughts. And like me, I'm not intellectual, like create new movement, but I look at it, I take according to what I think, prioritize what's important, and I try to give that to my youth, my young people, and it works quite good. And in Africa, I have to say education is absolute poverty is everywhere in Africa. I don't know how many times and how many of you traveled to Africa. I usually, up until last year, I travel minimum 5 or 6 times to Africa. I'm now working in Malawi and Uganda. And of course, Jeff with the Millennium Village, he put contact with them. And I say education in Africa is very important, especially girls. Believe me, the young girls has to be educated. If they don't get educated, they're going to drop out of school, and they are either sold to marry, they're forced to marry, they marry, and 15-year-old girls having 2-3 children. For that, they will never be able to break this vicious cycle of absolute poverty. So I think Jeff is doing that to really educate goals so that they know how to come out from this poverty and give them different platform. I have set up 180 thank you small libraries that around Africa, the children could go and get the books and study and play with the computer and this and that. And it's quite successful. So what I would like to say to this room today, I looked around, I think we're very well gender balanced. I think organizer did quite well between women and men. And what I'd like to suggest to you is think of just something very simple, what you can do for the countries like Africa. And as years go by, you will see how it will accumulate. And little later, I'm going to give this YouTube play to the organizer, because children they create a song called SDGs. It's a very, very well done song. So I hope at some point that we'll be able to play this. So I have so much to share with you because I work on field. And I want to thank to Jeff that his first book that I was intrigued by was, No Poverty, End of Poverty, the book he wrote, and it awakened many people. And now his MDG and SDGs, and I get a lot of inspiration for Jeff, and if it were not Jeff, I would not come from all the way to Seoul to speak to you 10 minutes, okay? Thank you, Jeff.